Well, hello and welcome to Light Guided Lightworkers. I hope these messages find you each well as we enter the new year. And the posting of this video will be around mid-January, but this will be applying for, they're telling me January, February, March for some of you. So whatever messages come through here for you, they could be relevant over the next couple of months. For others of you, it'll just be something you're coming out of and or just stepping into. So these are general readings, and my intention with these readings is to tap into the collective energy that brings messages to those of us who consider ourselves light workers or light keepers, keepers of the light. And these are messages intended to support your growth and your soul journey, and to give you a sense of connectivity or connection with the greater divine energy that supports you. So with that, no further ado, I'm going to do a quick energy attunement to bring in a healing energy for this reading. And that healing energy will be present throughout this reading for anyone who wishes to receive it. And it will be available, even if you watch this at a future time, that healing energy will still be present, again, if you choose. So give me just a moment, and perhaps while I am calling in my master healer, if you'd like, you're welcome to take a breath and close your eyes and just find that centered place inside, that quiet, still place inside that allows you to feel grounded and at the same time very connected to the wholeness of all that is. Great Spirit, I call in the energy of divine creative intelligence to be present throughout this reading. I call in my master healer to be present throughout this reading, to set the intention for this time of holding the space of joy and abundance and holding a sense of well-being throughout this reading. For anyone who wishes to receive or access that energy, please bring that energy forward in this reading. May what is said, may all that needs to be said, and all that needs to be heard, be heard. Thank you, Great Spirit, for bringing forth this beautiful energy to share with those who may watch this video now or at any time in the future. They're letting me know that they're here and present and ready to begin. First message that we'll be looking at here today is kind of the overall energies, a channeled message from the divine, from Great Spirit. Let's see what messages are here for you. And then we'll also look at any current energies that might be influencing your current situation. What might be serving you right now? What might be ready to be released? And then any spiritual guidance available for you at this time. And the cards are feeling quite heavy and sticky. Okay. Wow. What a beautiful energy to start this reading. This is the energy of Cosmic Heart and Cosmic Christ. And I always like to preface, because I know there can be a lot of, people getting really lit up around the word Christ. And just to say that in the context of my readings, I may reference God, I may reference various archangels or various, predominant figures in our spiritual history. But I am not here to say, one religion over another religion or anything like that. These readings are non-denominational, and they're really here to connect people with the spirit that they identify with. So whatever that is for you. Now, in this particular context, Christ is really talking about the energy of total love, the energy of that unconditional love that Jesus was known to have and was known to channel the energy of the divine because he was such a clear channel. So that's kind of the context for which this energy is coming forth. So give me just a moment to really tune in here and see what additional messages come forward for you. As always, Spirit has a great deal to share. And they're showing me something very specific here around the inner attunement, the inner alignment. This is a time for not just going deep within. I feel like many of us have been going deep within, but this is the next layer related to going within, which is now fine-tuning the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with spirit, the relationship you have with that intuitive connection. When you go inside and you feel that intuitive sense of connection with others, that intuitive sense of being part of the whole, being part of something bigger, this is the time to really begin to refine that relationship, refine that connection, so that each time you're going inward, you're gaining greater and greater clarity about your connection to the divine, about your connection to the whole, about the part that you are in terms of, yes, they're just saying in terms of the wholeness, being part of the whole. And it's interesting, they're giving me this next message and they're slowing it down. They're telling me they want this message to be really understood, so they're slowing it down. Spirit is very funny. They're slowing it down. And part of that message for you is this idea of also slowing down, allowing yourself to continue to be in a state of ease, and they're saying methodical, like slowing down, keeping at a pace in life where you can maintain your connection with the divine. As things begin to shift in the world, once again, as we are moving through that ebb and flow and things are changing with the pandemic and energy is continuing to shift, there can be a natural inclination to move back into old patterns or old ways of being in the world. And they're saying that what they want you to understand here is that now is the time to continue to go more deeply, go inside more deeply, not focusing on the outside, which is our natural inclination, right? But this time that we've had over this last year has been an opening to step into that inward world. And now the world is going to start to distract us once again. And they're saying, don't allow yourself to be distracted by what's happening outside, but really continue to go inside and refine that relationship, continue to refine that connection that you have, that place inside of total well-being, total peace. And they're telling me this is going to be, for those that are willing and interested in continuing on that journey, to continue to deepen that sense of connection with spirit, that connection, that place, that energy that's cultivated as a result of going inward, that is the new energy we are. It's like we're setting, we're tuning, you know, like a tuning fork. I know that that comes up often in my readings, but that's the energy they're showing me. It's like we're continuing to set that tone for the energy of life, right? Of all of life. We're continuing to participate in setting that tone. So that process of going inward and continuing to refine that relationship is about maintaining and maintaining and continuing that that tone. And they're playing a little bit here, and they're saying, think of yourself like a music teacher, and you keep hitting the same note over and over and over again because you're trying to teach your students how to sing on that note. But if you try to play a whole melody and you're distracted by the whole song, your students may not learn that note. They may not ever learn how to hit that key. So our job is to continue to hit that key and allow that to resonate outward so that others can tune to that energy. Okay? All right, they're asking me to move on. So I'm going to pull a couple of additional Lightworker cards on current energies. What are the current energies affecting this group at this time? There continues to be a lot of powerful energy for many of you. I am watching that energy continue to deepen for many of you. And again, I'm just hearing and seeing, you know, making sure that in your physical and emotional and spiritual being that you continue to cultivate groundedness and do not allow yourself to get overly distracted by what's happening externally in the world, because those are just distractions, okay? All right, so here are the energies that are currently affecting you or influencing you. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Yes, so I feel like this is exactly a part of the message that was coming forward before about not allowing these external things to distract you, but continue moving toward the light. So you can see here on this woman's journey, there's a pathway to the temple, and on the end of the pathway is the light. But she's getting distracted by all of these external things. So as she's making her way to the temple, she's stopping to get distracted. So they're saying, don't get distracted. Just keep moving. You know the direction that you're going in. So this message is really just a reminder to kind of, you know, reboot, stay on track, refocus. I'm even feeling as this reading is moving forward, for at least, I would say at least half of the group that's listening to this message, there's already a shift happening in your energy as this message is coming through, which is quite beautiful to watch. So I'm seeing many of you have gone through what I would call an awakening or an opening in the last year, 6 months to a year, where you have begun to connect with this more spiritual part of your experience. And that looks different for each of you. For some of you, this is about opening your intuition. For others of you, it may be around developing a spiritual relationship that's more formal, studying some kind of practice. But I'm seeing here, what they're showing me is for at least half of you, you have well stepped into this journey. You are moving in that direction, and it's established now for many of you over the last year. For another group of you, they're showing me that you've been on this journey for a very, very long time. And for that particular group, some of you might be having the experience of feeling like you've hit a wall, like you've hit a brick wall. You've been on this journey for a long time. You've been on this path for a long time. And now there's a sense of like, where do I go from here? And this is the message. The message is to continue to go inward, continue to look inward. And you may have outgrown some of the tools that you're using. So maybe you have a meditation practice or some other type of practice that allows you to connect inwardly, that the way that I was describing. You may be outgrowing that practice, and that's why it feels like you've hit a wall, okay? So this may be a time to look at, finding new practices, finding different ways to connect, finding new materials to read, new things to energize and connect more deeply with that inner part of yourself. And here we have the inner temple. Again, just a confirmation of everything that's been said. Moving, this says devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So yes, so for those of you, in particular, for those of you that have felt very stuck on your path, like you feel like you've hit a wall, moving into that energy of the heart. And by moving into the energy of your heart, you will always find the answer that you're seeking, okay? The answer will always be in that energy, in the energy of the heart. And I'm really seeing that repeated message here, this cosmic heart, cosmic Christ, and you can see that illumination happening here as well, within that inner temple. Actually, I love that term, and I hadn't thought about that, but now that it's coming up, when I talk about going deeper within to refine and continue to deepen that connection with spirit and self, it is exactly this idea of recognizing the sacredness of who you are, recognizing the kingdom and the temple that are within, and allowing that temple to be a sacred space, allowing that temple to be a safe place of exploration, a place of growth, a place of healing. They're showing me an interesting message here around water and healing. One moment, please. They're just showing me the image of a female figure dipping into like a hot springs. And she is, wow, she's quite beautiful. Her energy is quite lovely. The way she is shown to me, she has long flowing blonde hair. She's nude, and she's stepping into this water, and there's this spark of light that is emanating from her crown chakra and from her solar plexus. They're talking about this energy. It's all symbolic, right? The water's symbolic, but they're talking about this as an energy of recharging, to recharge that solar plexus and to recharge that intuition, that brow chakra, to cleanse and recharge. And they're saying that stepping into that inner temple not only allows you to connect more deeply with that heart center, but it's allowing you to free yourself from whatever holds you back in the solar plexus chakra and also in the third eye or the brow chakra as well. So if there's history there for you, if there's anxiety there for you, if there is, historical, so, energetically, our souls have memories, and that's why sometimes things resonate with us. We are like, that doesn't even make sense in my mind, but at a heart level, something really resonates for you. And that's what they're showing me, is that for many of you, you're now bringing, so we're changing the way we describe karma at this time in the evolution of energy and history, okay? So the way that we're beginning to define karma now is that consciously we're beginning to recognize that all space and time is really found in an infinite moment, right? It's found at the tip of a pin, the tip of a pin. So everything is collapsing into the here and now. So what they're showing me is anything from the past that has blocked you from using your intuition, anything that has blocked you from being fully in your power is collapsing into this life experience so that you can heal that. And again, they keep showing me just refining that inner relationship, you know, fine-tuning that relationship you have within the inner temple. What a beautiful message. And then finally, we have this energy of Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Wow. That's a very powerful message. And again, and I know I've said a lot of these messages kind of repeat because they sort of stand throughout the common energy here, the collective energy. But at this stage, at this time, our healing, our work becomes the beacon and the model for other people. So we're moving into an energy again that's less about doing and more about being. And that's happening at a collective level. And the more we're able to attune and fine-tune that relationship we have with our inner selves, with spirit, creating that divine temple within, the more we are the presence of light in a way that is uplifting humanity. And again, it doesn't matter what you do in life necessarily. You could be, you know, for a job, you could be a janitor, you could be a congressperson, you could be, you know, in the healing field. Whatever you do, that's not the key to how we're uplifting humanity. It's a part of it, don't get me wrong. There's a part of it. And, you know, we all have some role or some affinity towards service. But the true service here is about our own healing and our own spiritual inner work. They're giving me a message for just a few of you. It's a very specific message around, you know, when we hold space to uplift humanity, one of the things we want to caution ourselves against or be mindful about is that we're not allowing the lower vibration, the cords that people attach in our light, that they may attach to us, that we clear that out, and we don't allow ourselves to get distracted by that or dragged down by that. So in other words, for some of you, there are people in your immediate experience that whose energy is dragging you down, for lack of a better way of saying it. There are people in your life that have very low vibration, and it's not your job to fix them. It's not your job to save them. Our role as light workers is to continue to improve our own light and strengthen our own light. And other people, in this time period, there's also a lot of energy around boundaries. So that's part of what they're showing me here. They're also showing me for a few of you that there are spirit messages coming through for you that you've been blocking or not being consciously aware that there are spirit messages coming to you. So you may have people who've passed over. These could be spirit guides, they could be loved ones. But these individuals or this energy is on the other side of the veil, and this energy is coming to you. So some of you may be awakening also into mediumship or channeling. But again, very specifically for some of you, you know, check your environment, check to see who's around you. And you'll know who these individuals are. You'll very clearly know, oh yeah, when I'm connected to that person, I feel really dragged down. So you don't have to do anything about that relationship or that situation other than continuing to go inward and refining your own energy, okay, and staying connected to that sacred temple within. Let's see what energy is serving you. What's most serving you right now at this time? Ooh. What is most serving light workers at this time? They're asking me to pull from another deck. One moment, please. Thank you. Oh, interesting. too many cards. What is serving Lightworkers at this time, please? Thank you. All right, I'm going to begin with this card because it did come out. Oh, how beautiful. It's the energy of true love. This is what's serving you. So this energy, you know, this is going to be different for each of you, but on the whole, this energy is about that love of self, and not the love of self of, how would I describe it? It's a much deeper kind of love than what we sometimes talk about when we talk about, you know, loving oneself. This is about getting into that, again, that relationship with spirit within, that recognition of that inner temple and how you hold the kingdom. You are a sacred space, not just the ground you walk on, but you are a sacred space. And the more you recognize that, the deeper the love that you have, not only for yourself, but for others. But they're also showing me that, you know, love is a superpower, right? Real love is a superpower, and we can bring that love forward in all kinds of ways, not just through romantic love, but through, you know, all kinds of connections, all kinds of ways that we are in the world. We can bring that love forward. All right, so this is very interesting. I asked the cards, what is serving you? And I got some really interesting energies. We have the energy of vanity, the energy of insecurity, and the energy of despondence. So let's see what Spirit wants you to know about these. They are letting me know that these are the lessons that you've either been learning, have learned, or you're in the process of learning. So for some of you, if you're dealing with issues of insecurity, particularly around relationship, but insecurity in any way, this is actually serving you because it's part of the lesson that you're learning in order to step fully into your power. And the same vanity and despondence. So if you're prone to depression, if you're prone to seeing kind of the negative side of things, this is an opportunity to begin to change your perspective, change your experience, deepen that relationship with the divine within. And these types of energies are going to dissipate. They're telling me also, this is interesting, they're telling me this is also part of the change that's happening globally, like the lessons that people are kind of dealing with globally. Like how do you maintain a sense of well-being in the midst of really difficult circumstances? And they're saying that's the fortitude of a spiritual being, like that when you're able to move through your life, no matter what's happening on the outside in circumstances, but when you're able to move through that with clarity, with purpose, with that inner connection, with that inner sense of well-being, then you've met that spiritual resonance. You've connected with that spiritual resonance. And with the energy of vanity, they're also showing me the opposite of that, which is this idea of humility. And so they're saying that for many of us, we're learning the energy of humility and how to step into not only into our relationship with ourselves and spirit, but how to step into relationship with other people. How are we engaging other people? How do we relate to other people? And so part of this, you know, work or effort, part of the journey is around humility as well. What's ready to be released? What energy is ready to be released, please? Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. So beautiful. So first around that fragmented energy, pardon my voice. My voice is a little dry here. So fragmented energy, we're ready to release this idea of separation. And what I'll say to that is, when we experience fear, when we experience life or circumstances that just seem unfair, that seem tragic, our first response is to see those things as separate from spirit. Our first response is to say, well, that can't be part of the divine plan. This is a terrible thing that's happened. But part of the work, part of the process that we're going through as we deepen that relationship within, as we deepen that connection with spirit, and we continue to find sanctuary in that inner temple, that inner kingdom, we begin to recognize that nothing is separated from spirit. Even when it seems like the worst thing in the whole, thing that we can imagine happening, it is not outside of the realm of spirit. And shifting our perspective around that is part of the healing that happens. It's part of the change that we're moving into. Okay, so we're releasing this idea that things are separate, that things are fragmented. We're also releasing the energy of lack, the fear that there's not enough. And I love the way spirit moves through these cards, because they often, I said, communicate similar messages throughout the readings. But, the focus here is you have a choice. If you look at this card, you have a choice. The person could either be looking at this field of, desolate soil, this dry soil, or they could be focused on, wow, look at the water I do have. Look at the abundance that's right here in my hand. I'm able to hold that right here and now. So we're ready to release the idea of lack, the idea of not enough, and we're ready to embrace that what we have in the here and now is perfect. What we have in the here and now is exactly what we need. And this is not about denying any condition or anything like that. This is about changing our perception, our perspective, changing our relationship to the life that we have. And the reason for that is because that's powerful. The power in that is one that comes from within, where we get to be in an empowered state. We get to be in a state of peace and wellness and well-being, no matter what's happening outside of us, no matter what's happening in the external world. Okay? And finally, what's ready to be released? Peace. This is so interesting. So to me, this reads as the expectation of peace, because the expectation of peace does not exist outside of ourselves, outside of our being. So if we want peace, we must be peace. And it sounds cliche, right? But it is the Gandhi quote that we all know and love so well, which is, be the change you wish to see in the world. If you want peace, be peace. And not to get too far off on a tangent here, but, one thing that I've observed over the last year in particular, throughout all the political challenges and all the difficult circumstances that people have gone through, is that many of us stand in the realm of righteousness. We stand in the realm of, I'm right, you're wrong. We stand in the realm of, there is only one way and only one path. And the challenge with those conversations is they never go anywhere. If I'm always right, making you always wrong, then we never have a place to move forward into. However, if I'm willing to release this idea that I'm right and you're wrong, and I'm willing to just be a space of listening and understanding to whatever views you hold, whether I agree with the views or not, is not the purpose. Okay, but if I'm willing to create that space that sanctuary, that safe place for you that I've now created within me, and I'm willing to be a place of listening for you. Now we're moving in the direction of true peace. Peace within. Helping others find that peace within. All right, let's take a look at any last spiritual guidance that may be here for you. Any messages and spiritual guidance. Thank you. You are not alone. We are here for you. We never left through all the sadness and loneliness. However, you cannot sense us near you or feel how much love we are sending you. We are your family, friends, and guides. You will never walk alone. We will walk beside you. This is a message for some of you who've had loved ones pass. They're letting you know that, that they're here, that they're very close to you. And they have messages for you. And they want you to be open to hearing those messages. And they say, for the most part, there are some of you who have very specific messages coming through. Some of you who may be mediums, etc. But for others of you, this is just a message of love. It's a message of love to say, you know, we're here with you. And interestingly, we now have ancestral wisdom. We are your ancestors and we love you. We walked the earth many years before you. We ask you at this poignant time to learn and grow from our past experiences. You are our legacy, and we will keep on helping you as we continue to evolve here in the spirit world. What a beautiful affirmation. And, you know, one of the things I love about this particular energy and what's said here is it's a nod to the fact that all energy is evolving, all spirit is evolving. So here on the planet, we're evolving, but spirit on the other side of the veil, spirit in the grand way that we think and see, think and feel or think about spirit, that is also evolving, and we are part of that. And finally, we have this beautiful energy of serenity. The most important relationship you can have is with yourself. This is a time to honor, nurture, and love yourself more by seeking out and removing any negative feelings and emotions that are left over from yesterday. Don't let past issues and resentments interfere with your security today. Beautiful. And again, you know, this is not about denying conditions. It's not about denying how you feel. But as we go deeper within, as we find that place of inner well-being, we're not as shaken by the things that feel painful to us. We can have the pain and we can have hope at the same time. All right, my friends, it's been lovely to read for you for this month of January. And again, for some of you, these messages will expand into March. For others of you, this is kind of more immediate. So please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. For more information about Light Guided and about me and services I provide, you can check us out at lightguided.com. And until I see you again, I wish you much love and blessings and love and light. Thank you.